Now that we have the miniBrick4 wired to 4 solenoid valves, we're ready to start programming using the buttons on the top of that. Notice there's no computer involved when you do it in this way, which a lot of people like. I personally prefer using the computer because you get a better control over it. I'll attach 24 volts to the unit. We use 24 volts here because these valves are rated for 24 volts. So the voltage from here goes through a diode and a fuse up to the valve, and then the 4 black wires are the ones that are switched. Now to program, you need 2 thumbs. That's the important part, is you actually have to use both hands. Push and hold the red button, and then after a few seconds, the first light will start flashing. If your unit has not been programmed in the past, it'll start doing a back and forth pattern. If it has been programmed in the past, then you need to step forward 4 button pushes until it actually starts doing that. So it does the sort of Cylon eye back and forth chase there. That means you're in the clear memory mode. That's how you start your show, how you set up the length of your show, how many seconds you want it to run, or minutes you want it to run. And at the same time you're doing that, you can actually program your first output. So, when you're ready to program, record button, go button, and data button. You push, and the important part that everybody forgets is you push and hold the red record button. You then push the go button to start the sequence going. Notice that light starts flashing at the frame rate. We're going 30 frames per second, so it has 30 ons and offs. Now we're recording. If we want to program something, we can push that, and you can see that the output goes. Whatever pattern we do here happens. When we're happy with the length of the sequence, and only then, we release the red button. That just stopped that going. That set how long the show is. We can then push the go button, or we could use the external input to start the thing. In this case, we'll just press the green go button. There it goes. So you can see exactly what I had done before. It's recording. Now to record the next output, or any of the outputs, or record this one over again, you just, again, push and hold the red button. Doesn't take as long of a delay. And then you step to the output you want to do. So let's just, for fun, go over to the 4th output. Again, I push and hold. That's the important part, is holding the red button. Push the go button. Now I'll start doing something on this one. You can see the 4th solenoid there go when I push the button. And if we had it hooked up to pneumatics and cylinders and valves and all the other good stuff, that would be going. And see, there's the first one going that I had done. So that's the sequence. And I can release now if I'm done programming, or it'll just reach the end and time out. So there would be both of them going. I can do the same thing again. I'll do the second one now. Push and hold the red button, push the green button, and now I'm doing this one. I'll just hold this one on for a long time for fun, just so we can tell the difference. And then I'll turn it off for a long time and then do it really fast. Do whatever you want to do. You can't do anything wrong there. It's exactly, it'll just remember whatever you want it to do. And when the sequence ends, it goes back, and then again we have one more to program. And again, you'd normally be watching whatever you have hooked to the cylinders and valves, so you'd actually be puppeting it and seeing it live. Hit the go, and now let's do this last one. And so it goes. Okay, it should be timing out. Oh, there's got a little bit more to go. Now it's done. So you notice that the sequence length is the amount of time on that first pass where I pressed, ran it through and held the red button. That sets the length of the show. Now I can push it and it'll play back the whole sequence in all its glory. If I wanted to change something, there's a shortcut to stop it. So if I don't want to see it play all the way to the end, I can just hit the blue button 3 times and that stops it. I can then say, okay, I messed up on something. But if I don't want to mess up the rest of it, I could go through the whole thing if I wanted to. But I can also press the go button. And then when I want to record something, I push this button. Actually, I'm on the second one now, but I can redo that. And then when I release that, it plays back. When I go press the red button, it's now recording. And then I can release and go back to playback on it. So there I can actually change just little teeny bits of the show in there. By default, when you set up your show initially on the miniBrick4, it's set to play through once and then stop. And it's set up to ignore any additional trigger inputs on the thing. So it'll play through no matter what you do on the input here or the external input. You can see the green light go on when I hit the trigger input. It will just ignore it. It'll play through the sequence however long you set it for. You can change that by doing the same thing as before. You push and hold the red button, and you could go to any of the individual 4 outputs or clear your memory. But if you go one past that, you'll get a double flash pattern, and this input, the A input, will be flashing as well. So you can see that means you're in the mode where you're changing things. If you push and hold the red button at this point, that would set it for play once with no step. It's already set to that mode. Press the red button again, so it's flashing output 1 instead of output 0. That is play once, but then steppable. I'll show you what that looks like. So if we set it for steppable, dink, there, it just did it. Now when I start it, I can restart it. So you can see it starts the sequence over each time I push it. Doesn't matter whether I do it from the external input or from the green button on the top. These two basically mirror each other. Now if I didn't want that, I wanted it to loop instead, I can push and hold the red button, go back to record mode, that stops the show, go through the first 4, the clear memory mode. This one is play once, no step, because it's on the 0 output. Play once, steppable. Now I'm on output number 2. That one is looping, no step, or I can set it looping steppable. So I'll just set it for looping steppable in this case. Now once we start it, it'll just play forever. It's hard to see. Also when it's in looping mode, if you power it down and power it back up, it starts looping immediately. You can see how long it takes for it to actually get going once you apply power. So it's only a fraction of a second to actually be up and running. And in this mode, it'll just be playing pretty much forever. As long as it has power, it'll just keep doing that.